This is the all-new Acura Integra, and this one has the Aspec package on it. Now, I was trying to figure out if it was the Aspec package with tech, but I can't figure it out. I don't know what the difference is. I was doing research on Acura's website. I think it might be you have to have the heads-up display, which this one does not. And the reason why that's so confusing is this car comes with a lot of really nice features standard, and this isn't a press car. This is a car that I rented through Turo. And Turo is one of my favorite things ever, because it's typically about the same price or cheaper than renting a car. So when you travel, it's fantastic, and you get directions to where the car is parked. So as soon as you get off the plane, you just go out like you're going to your own car, get in. You have to snap a few pictures to check in, but it takes a fraction of the time that it takes to rent a car through your storefront car rental place. I don't want to say names, but what do I think of this car? So it has a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, 4-cylinder, that makes about 200 horsepower, which is actually pretty good for this little car. It does just fine, but we'll get to the problem later. The car handles really confidently. It feels, I mean, we're in Texas, so there's not a lot of curvy roads, but on the few curves that I have taken, it does pretty well. The infotainment system and all the features in the car are, I would say, very, very intuitive to learn. When we got in the car, it took me a few, maybe 30 seconds to a minute to figure out what to do, what the buttons are, and once you start playing with them, it's easy to learn. I didn't feel like I needed a instruction manual to learn how to use all the buttons on the car. I will say the knobs, the touch features are fantastic. Probably one of my favorites that I've been in a while. I love the vents and how they look. I think they look great. The interior itself looks good. These, I hate these. This, it looks like they just snap a iPad into the dash. I've never been a fan of those, but it is kind of like standard for people to be doing those, so it works great for what it is. Now, the adaptive cruise control and the basically lane assist, I think they call it, is a one-touch button to turn on and off, which is awesome. Makes it really easy to turn on and off, and it does really good at keeping the car in the middle of the lane. It doesn't just like bounce off the lines. It's actually pretty good. It kind of reminds me how a Tesla wants to stay in the middle lane, but it gives you a little more freedom. Like if you're trying to avoid a pothole, it doesn't feel like you're having to wrestle an alligator to get the wheel to move to avoid a pothole. It's very forgiving and very user-friendly. The other thing, it has all these cool little features in this digital dash. Like when you turn on your turn signal, there's a little image of your car inside the dash, and its turn signals come on. It's just neat little features like that that are fun and make a car feel a little extra special, even though it's really not that. It's not a necessary thing, but it's a fun little feature. A couple things that I am confused about with this car. I feel like this car has a confused identity. Basically, I don't know who it's for. Maybe just like someone who wants a nice rental car through Turo. I think it's great for what I'm using it for, but I would not buy this car as equipped. With the CVT transmission, it really deadens the throttle response. It's a really poor choice of an automatic transmission for this car. When you think Acura Integra, you think fun, you think inspired, and just like growing up, an Acura Integra was a fun car to have. Anybody who had one, especially if they had a GSR or Type R, those were cool cars. This isn't a cool car. This is a nice car. So that really kind of makes me sad. I feel like if this had just a regular like 6-speed automatic transmission, when you went with the automatic, it would be a lot more fun. It would give you could hold gears, and when you snap the throttle, it would give you a snappy response. This, when you put it in manual and try to do it, it really it feels so lazy. So one of the other the suspension, part of the reason why I feel like this thing has a missing identity, the suspension is really tight and firm. It makes it feel like the car would be a fun, snappy little car to drive. But you can't, with this automatic transmission, it just doesn't fit the personality of the suspension, even with the dynamic modes, it doesn't tone down enough. It doesn't get soft enough. It still rides very firm, even when you put it in comfort mode. And it really, it's overly tight. It doesn't feel good. I wish it had just another setting to soften it a little bit more. So that to me still gives it that confused identity. It doesn't go soft enough for how soft this transmission is. So to me, the purchase in this car would be with the manual transmission. If I was looking for one of these for a daily, that's what I would do. I would do this A-Spec package and a manual transmission, and it'd be a fun little car for a daily driver. But I'm torn with this car. I think it looks great and it drives really nice as far as just handling, but the CVT transmission just ruins this car and this car's personality. It makes me kind of sad that they put a CVT in it. So I don't know who this car is for. I really don't. If you're looking for an Integra because you remember the days when they were fun, cool little cars, and you want an automatic for like a daily commuter, you're gonna be disappointed. You just have to get the manual. The manual is the only way to go with this car, in my opinion. But those are my quick, short thoughts. This is just a quick review on this car. It's a nice car, don't get me wrong, just not an inspired car, if you will, when you get it in the CVT. I really want to drive one in a manual transmission to see if it truly does wake it up. So, turn the auto steer on. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope you have an awesome day.